Obia?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. How are you? Ma'am, are you able to hear me?
Pardon?
Are you able to hear me?
I didn't get you. I can hear you here.
Okay.
If you got a conception, start today. There is no better time than now to get going.
Uma,
A small progress.
just hold on for a second. Yeah.
Uma, wait for 5 minutes, okay?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Chalega.
Uma?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can proceed.
Yes, ma'am. If you got a conception, start today. There is no better time than now to get going. A small progress can always be made to start a big moment. A pleasant evening to everyone present here. We are glad to have you here on this auspicious day. On behalf of the MOC team, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to one and all present here for the fourth day of the Faculty Development Program on Experimental Teaching, Corporate Cognizance on Experimental Learning.
It's a mark of an undying tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of an important event. Like the great philosopher once said, the function of a prayer is not to influence the God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. Let us all pray the God and one for a prayer song.
Thank you. We all feel blessed indeed. If you light a lamp for someone else, it will also brighten your path. I request the technical team to light the virtual lamp.
technical team for lighting the lamp of prosperity and happiness. Sunshine is a welcome thing. It brings a lot of brightness. Now it's a time to welcome you all for today's session. I would like to call upon Ms. P. Valamati Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom BPS, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, to welcome the gathering.
Warm welcome to one and all present here. It's indeed a great pleasure to be amidst this gathering. I bow my head to the Almighty for showering us with abundant blessings. On behalf of Department of BCom BPS, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, I proudly welcome you all for this 4th day of International Faculty Development Program on Experimental Learning, Corporate Cognizance. With great honor and pleasure, I would like to welcome our today's resource person, Ms. Rose Ovia Ramasamy Ma'am, Lead Software Engineer, Synovi Software Consultants, New York, US, who has enormous experience in corporate sector and the suitable person to talk about our today's topic, corporate sector challenges and opportunities in overseas. Welcome you, ma'am. I warmly and respectfully welcome our Principal and Secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivkumar Sir, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, who has been our pillar of support in all our events. Welcome you, sir. My hearty welcome goes to Dr. S. Deena Ma'am, Vice Principal, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, for her warmful wishes. Welcome you, ma'am. I extend my cordial welcome to Dean, Student Affairs, Dr. G. Shanmuhananda Vadivel Sir, for his constant guidance. My genial welcome goes to our head of the department, Dr. V. Padmanabhan Sir, who has been our backbone in all our endeavors. It's my great pleasure in welcoming the participants from all over the globe and faculties from my own prestigious institution. Once again, I welcome you all for this 4th day session. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am, for your hearty welcome. Respect is earned. Honesty is appreciated. Trust is gained. Loyalty is returned. It's my immense pleasure in welcoming our speaker of the day is none other than Ms. Rose Ovia Ramasamy Ma'am, Lead Software Engineer, Synovi Software Consultant, New York. She has a strong software industry experience over 2 decades. In her downtime, she serves a volunteer by sharing her knowledge for the benefit of others. Today, we are fortunate to hear from Ovia Ma'am. So I request Ovia Ma'am to address the gathering.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Reverend dignitaries of SNR Sons Charitable Trust, a non-profit organization with more than 50 years history in leadership and excellence, both in the fields of healthcare and education. Respected Principal Sir, respected HOD Sir, and all of the dedicated staff members, I'm truly delighted to share my knowledge with you all today. Those of you who heard me on the Campus to Corporate Club webinar in February of 2021 this year might recognize me already. Many thanks to dear Dr. Nandini Madam for thinking of me and giving me this wonderful opportunity on both instances. Let us begin today's session with one of the many famous quotes of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa himself, like the man who works for others without any selfish motive really does good to himself. Sri Ramakrishna Ji refers to man in modern times. This refers to both men and women. So why did I choose to mention this quote out of all the other famous quotes from him? Am I following this quote? Absolutely. During this extremely hectic pandemic period, managing my 3 kids at home, I have given numerous webinars for various institutions, all absolutely free of charge. This is my own way of being selfless. All of these webinars were either in the middle of the night or wee hours in the early morning. Like today, it's almost 5:30 here, in this part of the world. Looking back, I don't know how I did it. This is going to be truly amazing and proud, to cherish. These are the memories that I would cherish for long. And all of this wouldn't have been possible without my loving husband's support. I hope those of you who are listening today might get some sort of service-oriented mentality and try to help your immediate family, extended family, parents, in-laws if you're married, and be more loving and caring to each other. Having done that, if possible, try to help others. at the most, by sharing your knowledge. Let us please remember that service to humanity is service to God itself. Now, moving on to our first slide of the day, other than the title slide. Wow. Why are we seeing world's greatest economies here? Let us try to do justice to the topic given to me. Again, thank you, dear Dr. Nandini ma'am, for choosing it for me. Corporate sector challenges and opportunities overseas. Now, before COVID-19, the global economy stood at an estimated 87 to 88 trillion US dollars, I believe. But the pandemic has seen growth forecasts revised downwards and economies going into recession. The economic impact of COVID-19 varies across the globe, depending on the factors from economy's efforts to contain it. The level of development based on its level of development and the types of industry. Now, while the top 10 economies accounted for 2/3 of the global GDP, or the gross domestic product, on the table in this slide, you can see that the United States is topping the nominal GDP and China topping the GDP through the PPP, or we call it as the purchasing power parity, you all should know, which allows for economists to compare like economic productivity and standards of living between the countries, like the theoretical exchange rate at which things could be bought, the same amount of goods and services with another currency. So India is definitely a huge economy, as you can see. People are our biggest assets. So given a debate on what will be the largest economies, which all countries could be there in the world by 2050, the US has been world's largest economy for a long time, like since the 1890s. During the Industrial Revolution, productivity was added to the economic output function, as opposed to considering only the population. So I bet, before that, India and, countries like China would have been because of the population. Now, innovations in manufacturing, finance, and technology has helped the USA maintain the status up until the current day. Now, emerging markets, including China, India, they are all gaining momentum. Kudos to all the hard work. Let us all work more hard and make this beautiful world of ours a very happy and great place, safe place rather, for everyone in it. Okay? Now, brain drain. Now, when I was a school student, that last millennium, you know how there used to be like rhetorical elocution competitions every year. One time, brain drain was one among the topics given. Like, little did I realize that even someone like me, I mean a normal person, not someone intellectually powerful like Albert Einstein or some of the world-renowned scientists, would have an opportunity to make USA as my home for almost 2 decades now. So thanks to my husband for bringing me to this technologically advanced society. All right, now migration. Migration is a very old phenomenon in world history. Way that's older than trade and capital flows. Recent research has looked at the positive impact of migration on long-term processes. For instance, the importance of migration and migrants, their networks, how it reduces the transaction costs for bilateral trade and foreign investment. So this is actually considered as a fuel for the growth and development for both countries involved. Yet, in spite of these benefits, migration is still a controversial topic in theory, and in practice, it remains a very small phenomenon. Now, as compared to other flows like capital and goods, still, this is not as, welcome as, it should be. So rather than depriving developing countries of their best talent through brain drain, migrants are offering brain gain by creating a global pool of highly skilled human capital. Like as professionals, scientists, and researchers, migrants are forming knowledge networks and increasing the collaboration on the global policy issues. This improves innovation in research and development R&D in the host countries and generates the results for countries that send their brain power abroad. Now, in all the proportion of the foreign-born people in well-developed countries, it's just tripled in the last 60 years, I would say, accelerating the immigration of highly skilled people. Many countries intensified their efforts to attract and retain foreign students, which increases the risk of brain drain from the sending countries, right? Now, this transfer can actually change the skill structure of the labor force, cause the labor shortages, and affect fiscal policy. However, it can also generate remittances and other benefits from expatriates and people that come back to settle to their home country. Overall, it can be a boon if the home country changes its objective policies. Now, today, it is an honor for me to talk about TCS, our own Indian MNC, or the Multinational Information Technology Services and Consulting Company, which is the subsidiary of the Tata Group, operating in umpteen locations across the globe. TCS provides employment to over 400,000 IT professionals, or over 4 lakh, okay, if we were to say in our own style. Now, companies such as TCS would help alleviate, meaning like lessen India's brain drain. I'm so happy to hear that Sri Ramakrishna College has a tie-up with the global consulting giant TCS. Long last this conglomeration. All right. So now let's move on to our next slide of the day. Slide 4. I don't have a lot of slides, but most of these slides are a little detailed. Okay, I tried to put in as much information as possible in the hour that's given to me. I'm glad this is recorded, so in case you have to look back, you can. And also the slides would be shared to Dr. Nandini Madam. You can get it from her for reference sake and for extending your knowledge. Now, perfect. Despite considerable interest in artificial intelligence and an expectation that over 2/3 of the organizations will implement some level of AI in the coming days, many organizations still lack the knowledge and skills to make this happen. The challenge is to gain knowledge, okay, and understanding to drive artificial intelligence automation in areas where they can get the most out of the investment and actively transform their organizations into dynamic, data-centric businesses that can actually make them fit for the challenge that lie ahead. Now, COVID-19 outbreak disrupted supply chains and businesses. The plans of the business continuity around the globe was disrupted, especially for factories. As the pandemic triggered travel restrictions, lockdowns, and social distancing requirements, a number of important challenges emerged for businesses. These include running essential functions and business continuity plans for normal operations, giving workers safe physical access to sites, and coping up with a much reduced workforce, while ensuring that the timely support, supply, and successful delivery of essential equipment is done. Many businesses and consumers switched to digital solutions during this lockdown, be it in the form of online meetings instead of physical ones or ebooks instead of physical books. However, asset-intensive industries cannot create digital copies to replace their machines, turbines, assembly lines, or railway tracks. The key to business continuity for these type of industries lies in the digital control of the physical assets, driven by the convergence of information and operations technologies. all right? To achieve the digital control and self-orchestration needed to stay buoyant and competitive, both in normal times and post-COVID, network reliability, performance, predictability must be dramatically elevated across all the assets and ecosystems with mission-critical networks and industrial automation solutions. Only then can information and operations technologies converge to deliver enterprise value and industrial mission-critical performance during these most critical times. In order to effectively shape the future of advanced manufacturing and production, numerous organizations are working to advance their priorities and support an inclusive transformation of businesses that not just is more resilient, but also sustainable across industries and geographies. Throughout the ages, humanity has experienced many pandemics that annihilated large number of the population. The COVID-19 or the coronavirus disease not only caused human deaths, but also placed humankind in an unprecedented situation, critical situation rather, that affected all spheres of life. This situation is a result of the contradictions of what the world believes about the ability of globalization, smart technology, and multiculturalism in confronting the current COVID-19 adversity. Therefore, the embarrassment is what happened in the past and what is happening today is what these epidemics, are occurring during the time known as the era of big data, the technology revolution, and artificial intelligence. In early times, urban environments did not have vast economies or advanced digital technologies available today. Moreover, the idea of cities between the intercultures and cross-cultures had not yet been extended then. The current circumstances of coronavirus pandemic that invaded most environments show the importance of rethinking the practice of current technology by attracting people and ideas, educating people, and investment in education as such in the long run will improve the stable flow of the resources, resulting in the fast pace of innovation, continuous and deep restructuring and rethinking of infrastructure as such. All right. Now, slide number 5, smart city. Our own beautiful Coimbatore city. I can't wait to see it as a full-fledged smart city. And those of you who did not know, I went to Tamil Nadu Arts and Science College, which is affiliated to Bharatiya University. I am who I am today. Totally, it's because of my professors. I worship them every single day, in my mind, since they are the pillars of so many students such as me. Now, as such, such is the impact of good teachers. Please be that beacon of hope and spread the light of knowledge to your own students. Smart cities, right? They have emerged as such as urban ecosystems that integrate digital technology, knowledge, and assets to become more responsive to the users, improve the city services, and make the cities more lovable. Leading the development and reintegration of effective, high-performing cities is one of the grandest challenges of our time. Now, much of the existing literature on the smart city focuses on how far each city has come and the resulting benefits. This may not offer adequate guidance to city leaders on what they should do when each city operates in such a unique context. City planners require forward-looking and practical comparisons and guides by understanding the budgets, infrastructure, policies, services, innovative governance, and resourcing models of different cities. Now, for smart city initiatives, multiple stakeholders, including businesses, governments, individuals, must work collaboratively to achieve common goals and benefits. This sort of consortium style approach is beneficial for a large scale operation, as it will ensure that the project is incredible, well planned and structured effectively, so that it can deliver the desired outcomes and benefits to citizens, such as quantifying the effects of air pollution and lowering the consumption of utilities. So we are moving on to more detailed, slide. As always, I try to put in as much information as possible, and will share my slides, obviously, as I said before. And with the resource, this is actually always like a reference for the participants. Now, this slide, as such, discusses the broad picture of how any society, city, country works, challenges and opportunities in this competitive, technologically advanced world. In spite of the progress made in privatization, streamlining, and the financial regulations, the access to capital or the funds for businesses is still limited, no matter how nations aim to stimulate the entrepreneurial initiatives and the foreign investment. Now, among the most comprehensive definition for competitiveness, the one given by the World Economic Forum that defines competitiveness as a set of institutions, policies, and factors that determine the level of productivity of a country. Productivity. Ain't it awesome? So, a competitive economy is a productive one, leading to development and increase in income and overall well-being of every citizen in general. As such, rising competitiveness means rising prosperity. Competitive economies are the most likely to support a sustainable and inclusive development, meaning that all the members of the society will benefit from the economic growth. No disparity, no rich or poor, right? Why are we saying this slide? As commerce and economics is intertwined, professors such as yourself must help make our world a competitive world. Obviously, it's already competitive. It has to get more productive. According to the World Economic Forum, economic indicators are divided into 3 pillars with 12 distinct areas as such, listed on this slide. The first major slide would be basic needs that includes the institutions, infrastructure, the macro and economic environment, health system, and primary education system. Next comes efficiency enhancers, the markets, whether we refer to goods, labor, or capital, the education system, as well as the technological features also indicate how prepared an economy is to go through a transition towards an economy based on the knowledge. Now, the third pillar is innovation and sophistication of the business environment. These are more complex areas of competitiveness that require an economy. It has to be counting. It should be able to count on multinational companies and research centers, as well as on an innovative and supportive government. Those countries that have acquired a top score at this level have developed economies and as such a GDP per capita, as seen on the first slide, rather the second slide. Such countries can face the future challenges self-consciously and have a higher level of control. I hope it all makes sense now why USA, the land of opportunities, has remained on as the top economy in terms of GDP, the gross domestic product. Let us work tirelessly, relentlessly, and improve our productivity for the benefit of everyone in this ever-changing universe. Wonderful. We are moving on to our next slide. Fantastic. Now, this is more specific details on what we should do to face the challenges of the corporate world, how to prepare tomorrow's leaders, all, such interesting stuff is going to be there in the next few, slides. Challenges freshers face in the corporate world in general, there are many. I would like to point at a few. Identity crisis. When freshers enter the corporate world, they might face an identity crisis. They would not want to join a conversation or be part of a meeting. They might be skipping a meeting or backing out of conversations. That could be easier in college, but at work, their opinion and thoughts on an issue being discussed definitely matters. So please train your students accordingly. Remember, I was boasting about my college professors. They let me take seminars that had a greater impact on me and my confidence level. Another challenge that freshers might face is the lack of sense of direction, lack of guidance. They might not be clear with the organization protocols, rules, such as not leaving without the permission of the team leader, speaking loudly, the project manager, needs a little bit more respect. Human resources departments definitely, might provide all the guidance, but still one's own judgment needs to be in place to tackle a situation. Fellow employees are mostly busy, completing their own tasks and meeting their own deadlines. Freshers cannot force them to guide, them all the time. They have to be wary and cautious of the things that they do. Mistakes may be ignored at first, but not always, which, it has to be a careful place. Workplace is different from college. So how can professors help their students? Similar to mock interviews, there could be mock workplace where students can act like employees and, work as team themselves in tackling any particular problem. So another challenge is the ability to learn, that's learning quickly. This is what the workplace expects. Company spends months, sometimes years to train their employees. A fresh graduate only learns the basics of work from education. Real knowledge is acquired while working on live projects. When your company is offering valuable training, please try to learn as much as you can and establish your domain. Curiosity to adopt lifelong learning must be important at college level itself. Next challenge would be language, using the right words, better communication. This can be addressed well at the college level. Let the students communicate and foster each other. Challenges make life worth living. As professors, make your students realize that life experience makes everyone become a better person. Looking at challenges as opportunities can make your students climb up the corporate ladder at a marvelous speed. One part of this slide, lists out the behavioral skills expected in the corporate world, each of which is self-explanatory, like positive attitude, self-motivation, competitiveness, multitasker, ambitious, assertive, like exerting core company values, showing up leadership, come up with innovative ideas, get a better understanding of the problem at hand, etc., etc. All prepare your students to become an asset to their company. Okay, we're moving on to the next slide, slide number 8. This slide lists out the possible management styles and how, as professors, you can prepare your students to be productive in their firm by understanding the type of manager they get or they want to be. Okay, first over there you see autocratic, full control, tough managers. Consultative, based on the input decisions are made. Persuasive, like leaders trying to persuade other subordinates and convince them to do the job. Democratic, their style, everyone is given a chance. Chaotic, speed of delivery, fast. Okay, laissez-faire, meaning no indifference. Nice, no indifference. Nobody gets to bother me. I don't get to bother anyone. I don't do anything. They don't do anything. The productivity is naturally low. Now, a combination of these management styles based on the situation would actually help bring up the productivity of any firm or even any family environment. Like I always say, the most difficult job in the whole wide world is to be a parent. Now that I know, I realize more than when I was an independent child, making it very difficult for my parents. Okay, please teach your students good values so they can lead a happy, contented life. I passed my undergraduate into the millennium year, 2000. After 21 years, what my professors taught still lingers on. Lucky me, right? Now, the next part of the slide is showing about the the messages, the leaders, the managers must manage. Now, many leaders don't take the time to define specifically what they mean when they use generalized terms or cliches. They don't want to feel that they are talking to people by providing what seems like unnecessary detail or context. Leaders simply assume that the exact meaning of their words is obvious. They are surprised to learn not only that their message has been unclear, but their teams create definitions. So they aren't forced to guess what the boss has in mind. If we accept that the leader's job at its core is to inspire and support the organization's collective responsibility to create a better future for the company, then what are the keys to effectiveness? Now, what tools do leaders, do they need at hand for this mission? What mental models must they have? So the first different list, as such, there are 5 over here, is going to be the organizational structure and hierarchy. Financial results follow that. The leader's sense of his or her job, time management, and corporate culture. All right? Now, leader. All right? Manager with leadership in your mind. Slide 9. I only have 16 slides, so it's going to be a breeze. Okay. By now, you all might have inferred that a leadership style of management is greatly appreciated. In this slide, we see 10 progressive leadership qualities, the best that define an agile leadership model. These qualities are critical in today's disruptive environment and are required to attain the speed, efficiency, creativity, innovation, and results, finally. Among the 10 qualities, continuous learning, the last one, the 10, is no longer optional. Regardless of the title, without it, leaders today risk being an expert one day and a novice the next day. Right? Continuous learning, inextricably linked to problem solving, involves acquiring new knowledge, seeking out best practices, keeping current skills sharp, and gaining fresh perspectives. Keep learning. Other than that, just as we saw in the management styles, different leadership styles are also distinctively mentioned in the slide. Normally in the corporate world, leaders are referred as mentors, visionary, influencer, motivator, inspirer, so on and so forth. These slides can be just notes for broader study for you all. Okay, now let's move on to another nice slide. Cool. Organizational culture, or also called as the corporate culture, is a group of internal values and behaviors in an organization. It includes experiences, ways of thinking, beliefs, and future expectations. It's also intuitive with repetitive habits and emotional responses. Organizations have strong cultures when norms, attitudes, and behaviors are shared and strongly held through an organization, right? How to build a robust company culture. Why are we seeing this now? Because we know among the important messages that a leader need to address, organizational culture is definitely one, and it's on the top. So as on the previous slide, like slide 8, I believe. Financial stability. Healthy organizations have to focus on their financial stability. Organizational growth, revenues, a growing client base, and profit margins are important ingredients for success. Harmonious relationships exist When there is better communication, employee and customer satisfaction, and a sense of loyalty and friendship among the team members. Now, attention to detail, high performance, quality, best practices, all of this, competitiveness, continuous renewal and learning, adapting, learn, grow, set goals, and empower. Team orientation as such, building like an internal community, shared sense of purpose and values, integrity, building trust, passion, outcome orientation, making a difference, strategic partnerships and alliances, work together for a large cause or mission, supportiveness, service to humanity, and universal social responsibility. Future generations, long-term perspective, ethics, compassion, vision, sort of like Mother Teresa level, because it all is about the difference that you make to humanity and the planet. It's about the need of we before me. So you all should know better, because the trust that runs your college is one of the famous ones. Coimbatore is no Coimbatore without your college or the trust that's running it. I don't have to say it. I think in the other webinar I went on in detail. So lack of time, let's continue on. Now, so be proud. That's all I'd say. Be proud and follow the visionaries' principles and be more. What do I say? Be more known to the world. As products of your college. All right. Now, slide number 11. Work with and within your current. What do we see? 10 principles for mobilizing your organizational culture. So working with and within your current culture situation, there is no corporate culture that is all bad or that's all good. So to work with your culture effectively, therefore, you must understand, recognize which traits are preeminent and consistent, and discern under what types of conditions these traits are likely to be a help or a hindrance. For example, when new products were ready to be launched, how can a company market it? Instead of relying on market experts, it uses, it can use the suggestions from its own employees and rewards, from going an extra mile to support the customers. Like rewards can be both great for customers and employees. It can make them happy. Now, the second one is changing the behaviors and mindsets. Okay, so when behaviors change, mindsets will naturally change, and just as in day, night, follows in day, and night follows day, and go so on and so forth. Changes to key behaviors, changes that are tangible, actionable, repeatable, observable, measurable. As such, it's a great place to start. Now, third one is the focus on critical few behaviors. So conventional wisdom advocates a comprehensive approach. Everybody should change everything that's not perfect. So everybody should change everything that's not perfect. So don't wait for somebody to do it. Just go be the person that changes. So a small number of important behaviors that would have a greater impact if put into practice by a significant number of people. So for example, ways of starting meetings or talking with customers, you can be a change agent. It can be anything. So deploy your authentic, fourth would be the deploying your authentic informal leaders' authority. It should not be confused with leadership. Leadership is a natural attribute exercised and displayed informally without regard to title or position in the organizational chart. 4 types of authentic informal leaders: pride builders or master motivators. They make you feel so proud. Like when the ma'am asked me for my short profile, I said, it's too boring. I want people to listen to what I say rather than listening about me, because I don't want to boost up saying I am the best. Okay, I am not. So I'm just one common person. I'm sure everyone should have the same mentality, no matter what you achieve. So I haven't achieved as much as, other people. probably that are listening, but I'm just saying. So pride builders are these master motivators that make you feel proud, like make you want to do it more. So exemplars as such, are role models, networkers, or like hubs of personal communication within the organization. Early adopters are enthusiastically latching onto and experimenting with new technologies, processes, and ways of working. So deploying your authentic informational leaders. After that, you have number 5 is don't let your former leaders off the hook. Leaders in all parts of the company are critical and safeguarding and making you, safeguarding, and then, making you feel like a champion. Okay. So they are the ones that are going to make you follow. So they are they are the champions, but you will feel as a champion yourself. So after Neeraj, our own javelin, star that got the gold medal, I'm sure there will be more embracement for the sports. So he is the champion, right? The formidable champion now. So what we meant to say is energizing personal feelings and reinforcing the cultural alignment. After that, we have link behaviors to business objectives. So when people talk about feelings, motivations, and values, all of which are vital elements of strong cultures. So I regret, I don't want to mention, in general, right? What I feel is people are really scared to speak their minds, for fear of some other opposition, or I have seen this, even in WhatsApp groups, they don't want to let people talk what they want. I'm like, when you're a group, let them talk whatever they want. Whether or not people exit, people just pull each other's legs. They would say, don't do this. Who are others? Who are we to judge their own actions? That's the question that we should actually have in mind. I have seen this in adults as old as me, so over 40. So I don't expect this to naturally happen. So I don't know if it's the environment or something, but please, when people talk about feelings, let it be. It could be a motivation to others. Okay, if you don't like it, just don't. Let them pour their feelings. Just let go of it. Okay, we're all so what do you call it? In the fictitious worlds, watching movies, what the stars are doing. Who knows, what they are in reality. People follow them bluntly. I'm not saying don't go crazy over them, but if you like it, just do what you like. And there's no rhyme or reason to, go on opposing others. So link behaviors to business objectives. When people talk about feelings, motivations, and values, all of which are vital elements of strong cultures. Okay? Now, number 7 is demonstrate impact quickly. Short attention spans. It is extremely important to showcase the impact of cultural efforts on business results as quickly as possible. So today we might think culturally this is right. So in about a few centuries, we might think this is not. So culture just, it keeps on evolving, that's what we say. My father always says, these are all, you live in an evolved society, people understand. I'm sure, we also understand. It's just, one or two that's just, not trying to. So you can, in general, cross-organizational methods, can go viral. Social media, blogs, posts, tweets are generally great ways of spreading ideas, okay? Now, align programmatic efforts with behaviors. By providing the structure in which people work through disciplines such as organization design, analytics, human resources, the formal organization provides a rational motivation for employee actions, while the informal organization enables the emotional commitment that characterizes peak performance. Finally, we have actively managing your cultural situation over time. So when aligned with strategy and operating priorities, culture can provide hidden sources of energy and motivation that can accelerate changes faster than formal processes and programs. So some companies have great success stories working with culture. Okay, so I am an Indian in my heart, even after being here for so long. So I'm proud. I'm proud of my upbringing and all of that. So that is our culture, and I'm so happy to, impart what my parents have taught. I'm trying to instill the same on my children. Whether or not they follow, I try hard. Moving on to our slide, which gives more insight on building an effective corporate culture for the COVID crisis. We can clearly see the demarcation between effective and ineffective corporate culture. First on the list is result-oriented culture. Businesses that hope to thrive during a time of crisis need to be result-oriented. That is, they need to share the problems and issues across the entire organization. They need to step up their levels of cooperation and collaboration. Employee-oriented culture, right? Winning in these turbulent times entails learning at speed of changes. Training and education of their employees has become a top priority. So I don't know if I would have done all these webinars, all of these chief guest addresses, if it was just a regular office day. So just being here soon, we're going to get back to office. So hopefully, I bet, there are lots and lots of training and education done to both educational institutions as well as, like corporate companies, making better, that's the most top priority during the, I'm glad such things are happening. And, because of the technologically advanced era that we are in. So we don't have to go out, and so we are able to enhance, enrich ourselves. Now, the next one is open cultures. Provides the necessary psychological safety for employees by allowing them to speak their minds freely, like I said, without fear. Okay, please. I have always observed, like people come, all these people that are in the chat, they just do crazy, they gang up and then just target some person. Let them talk their mind. What is your problem? So let them talk, Please let others speak their mind without fear. So this has to be definitely important in corporate culture. So no bullying, that's what I would say. I tried to put all these posts, but no use anyways, I don't know if they understand or not, so I just let go of them. So I'm not on any social media. I just joined this school group like last year sometime. And then I was surprised, at the understanding level of most people. They just gang up and they just talk about, few people whom they do not know. So some people that talk to me, they don't even know me and I don't know them. They just talk so well, then you talk back to them and they just, come back, hurting your feelings, saying that this is wrong. Who are them to judge us, right? So please let people speak their mind freely. So if you don't like it, don't watch it, don't listen to it, just delete it. That's it. So there is no right or wrong as such. There is no perfect thing in the world. So that's what is given as open culture. So you see, the most effective corporate culture is open culture. Now, the execution of the corporate culture, it's collectively through this insights. Now, loose culture, what happens here? This, not the great mental type of culture. So this actually protects the organization from dangerous downward spiral of micromanagement. It increases employees' morale while building their confidence in tackling the large challenges within an organization in the future, right? And then market-focused culture. So this is the most important element of a high-performance culture. Customer centricity, whenever changes are needed, while exploring new trends, ideas, technologies, or innovation. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all of these have well-developed market-focused culture, and innovation is their key. You can compare and contrast the ineffective corporate culture where when you get this presentation. Okay, let's move on to slide number 13, like I said, only 16 slides are there. So organizations that make strategic connections through business collaboration experience a wealth of benefits. Collaboration is critical to the success of competitive intelligence functions. Now, organizations that gather and interpret the market or competitor data must be able to convert it to actionable intelligence that what is perceived based on the market, okay, that clients can use. To do this, teams must be sharing the information, insights. That is, they must actually collaborate effectively. So, however, in the corporate world, we're often asked, to do more with less amount of time, to take on more projects, as much projects as possible. So usually there's like ton of projects for a person, you just keep one on the back burner, and then you work on hand when you're stuck with one. That's how it is in reality. So, and responsibilities for the good of the company. So since everything is urgent, right? Attention is given to the constant stream of reactive tasks. So whichever is urgent, just do that. So whereas developing a strategic plan for collaboration is usually the last priority. So one day, but that one day will never happen. So some strategies that can improve collaboration and promote the sharing of the information are gaining leadership support. It is vital that leaders help employees understand the link between information sharing and better competitive intelligence. So this, other than that, we say creating a culture of collaboration makes it a standard practice in order to receive and give feedback on the information that's shared, like showing appreciation for others' times and efforts. Why is there a feedback form? And then why are people talking about, whoever is there, talk about them. So just make them feel happy that, for the time that they have given, right? It kind of encourages a positive cycle of collaboration. By sharing information freely, companies can institutionalize knowledge and reduce the reliance on one or a few indispensable individuals. So only that person knows, only she knows, only he knows, okay? So one other thing, what I, when I went to the group, I said, make everyone an admin. So we're all, adults, what is behind there, just, having only a few individuals. If somebody wants to add their friend, anything like that. So if at all, knowledge needs to be shared, it has to be transcended across the company. Now, use technology effectively in the most intelligent way possible for your business to enhance collaboration. So in this slide, we see the differences in collaboration across generations, from trusting everyone to having clear responsibilities, and finally, how collaboration takes place by communicating effectively in the age group of 45 to 65 years. So as age goes up, so does the wisdom, right? Now, we are going to be moving on to our 14th slide of the day. So, good strategic collaboration does not just happen from one conference room meeting to the next. It's about choosing intentionally where it makes sense to invest in collaboration, thinking through what form that collaboration should take, and ensuring the right resources, including time and place, to follow through on those decisions. And it's difficult to achieve all the time, so you can do better going forward. So that plan, right? Planning. Now, the beginning of a new project, generally, or activity is the best time to schedule and plan for strategic collaboration. Now, invite participation with targeted communication. Like, effective collaboration requires good communication, especially to get buy-in or in the initial stages of an activity, like generating interest and enthusiasm among the staff. Now, go that extra mile to be inclusive. Like I said, the reason why I'm just referring that is just a common thing. Generally, whenever you say any kind of commerce, or actually I would say economics and commerce is the most easy subject, as well as you can think it's the most complicated subject. because it just keeps on changing. You have to adopt and you have to make changes. So is technology. So I'm from a pure computer science background, so we have to keep learning. Okay, so if you were to be collaborative, truly. So locally led development requires the time to receive, those hard to reach people, to reach them and take into consideration their language barriers, geographic barriers, etc. Okay. We are moving on to this one interesting slide, okay, which lists out what makes for good team collaboration based on some surveys. Ease of communication is the key for good collaboration. Regardless of the company or country, people thought investing more in trust and visibility might also help with collaboration, sort of like making sure that people are being kind. Please be kind to others. I have not seen a lot of kind people in the world, not even the people that studied with me. It's very disheartening for me to know, the understanding level, I don't know. I just can't, stand those peoples, those kind of people and their mentalities. I mean, not peoples, people and their mentalities. Now, so please, people, we have to be kind to others. So as such, please be kind to co-workers. No bullying at the workplace. So in the college level, as maybe some teachers might be authoritative, but we have to adopt a more friendlier thing. I love the way my children are handled here in these US schools, because they get to speak their mind. They are treated as, you are an individual, you just get to do whatever you like. Okay, they just let you trial and experiment, and they say, okay, if you do this, this would be the consequence. That's how it is. Well, all right. So when company goals and employee responsibilities are explicit and visible to everyone, from managers and leaders, additional investments in employee professional development can lead to innovation, thus solving collaboration problems. Now, let's move on to the last slide of the day. So, as employees progress through their careers, what happens is external signifiers like brand recognition and global reach fades, usually. Now, while priorities like focusing on customers, clear leadership, and investment in employees become more important, the answers chosen by the most experienced workers aligned with management priorities, because manager-level employees tend to be more experienced. So as professors, please try to teach your students all your wisdom so that your students become more mature at a younger age, and climb up the corporate ladder at an incredibly faster pace, or they can also become entrepreneurs at a very young age. Now, sort of like the person listed in this 55 to 65 category on the slide, magic, right? Please do the magic. So this is our final slide. In concise, when companies energize their employees, empower their teams, develop competence, focus on their organizational culture, improve with innovative ideas, they get successful. Once again, I sincerely appreciate and thank the efforts of the SNR Sons Charitable Trust. I would also like to personally thank the wonderful opportunity given by dear Dr. Nandini Madam. Those who are listening, please stay safe and wear your masks. Practice social distancing to the best extent possible. Please take care. Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. Thanks one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for the wonderful presentation. Over to MOC.
Now, the forum is open for Q&A.
Participants, if there is any question to be asked with the resource person, you can now raise your questions.
My LinkedIn ID is mentioned here, so those of you who want to connect with me can do that. I'm always willing to help to the possible that I could to others. So I understand that there are not much questions. I have a long day ahead of me. I have work to do. So thank you once again for the wonderful opportunity, ma'am. Thank you. Can I sign off now? Thank you.
Ma'am, few minutes, ma'am. Yes, MOC, you guys can proceed.
Kindly check the feedback link in our chat box and check it up and fill it up. Thank you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom.
Thank you.
Gratitude is not in the words.
Ma'am, a professor asked
Me.
IoT and 5G become more essential in our learning process in order to promote our digital responsibility in your future. He has raised the question.
Yes. IoT, I just finished up a talk on IoT, 5G, and IoT. Nandri ma'am actually has the presentations, I believe, and the YouTube links, so they can share with the professor that's asked. This is definitely an integral part. The world is going to evolve based on technology, so we can't know every field. We need to understand that this is going to be the future. So maybe literature, they talk poems, they talk about realism, but I understand still, to some extent, they have to be also technologically, involved. So, Nandini ma'am actually has the links to the YouTube thing. So it was like over 1 hour. So that has more details on 5G and IoT and everything. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anisha?
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. Gratitude is not in the words, but in the heart which express it. I would like to call upon Mrs. K.M. Anita, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom BPS, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, to express her words of gratitude.
Very good evening to one and all present here on Department of BCom BPS behalf, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science. I owe my special gratitude to our today's resource person, Ms. Rose Ovia ma'am, lead software engineer, Senovi Software from United States, for having accepted our invitation and spent her valuable time with us. I'm sure we are enlightened by your words, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I would like to record my sincere thanks to our beloved Principal and Secretary, Dr. B.L. Shivakumar Sir, Sri Ramakrishna College of Arts and Science, for his enormous encouragement and support. Thank you, sir. And I would like to extend my grateful thanks to our Vice Principal, ma'am, Dr. S. Deena, for her warmful wishes and her valuable presence. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Dr. J. Shanmuhananda Vadivel, sir, Dean, Student Affairs, for his constant guidance. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my thanks to our head, Department of BCom BPS, Dr. V. Padmanabhan, sir, for his unflattering motivation and confidence in us. Thank you, sir. It is not possible to organize such an event without a good team back with us, and I thank all my fellow colleagues for their overwhelming effort. I extend my thanks and appreciation to the MOC team and the technical team. My sincere sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who have joined today's session. Once again, I thank you all for the energetic participation. Thank you.
Thank you. You all have a good evening. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ovia. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all for gracing us with your presence. It enhanced our drive.
Thank
Thank you all and have a great evening ahead.